I think I managed to solve the question that's been on everyone's mind. Why did the prototype never kill us? Finding the answer to this question wasn't easy, and the answer is sure to surprise you. I'm going to refresh your memory back to the very first trailer when the game was introduced. We are met with several ominous phrases, but the most important clue was hidden inside. One line in particular shows up and reads, "You played with toys, now it's their turn to play with you." What the text says turns out to be true. Without us noticing, every toy we have fought in the game has been playing, or precisely toying with us. First, it was Huggy Wuggy. He has the capability of wiping us out almost immediately as soon as we enter the factory. But for some reason, he waits until we drop our guard to start chasing us. The only way to explain this strange behavior is that he has his own vendetta. It's similar to that one time he escaped through the ventilation system and then killed staff members who tried to take him back. This was all revealed to us in one of the restricted VHS tapes. So with that track record, he surely wouldn't hesitate to try doing the same thing to us. And then we have the most notorious character that's clearly toying with us, Mommy Longlegs. If she wanted, she could have just played her hide-and-seek game with us from the very beginning. But no, she chooses to prepare an elaborate plan that requires us to play 3 games for the sake of eliminating us. That's true dedication. And we can't forget Miss Delight, who plays her own version of a red light green light game, as well as the mini smiling critters who possess Dog Day and make him chase us. Catnap literally plays a game of cat and mouse, where he stalks us the entire time of Chapter 3. They're all just toying with us, and obviously have a good time doing so. That might be why the prototype hasn't killed us yet. It's probably amusing for him to sit there and watch us suffer. Even if he wishes for our death, he wants it to be slow and painful. Or maybe he has other reasons not to kill us, such as protecting the other toys and preventing him from leaving the factory. Huggy's successful escape attempt might have given the other toys a glimmer of hope that one day they can run away as well. Perhaps it's also one of the things that drove the Hour of Joy to take place. The Hour of Joy opened a massive opportunity for the toys to escape from the facility. You would think escaping would be their first instinct, but for some reason they don't leave. Well, it might be a bad idea. If any of the Playtime toys manage to leave the factory, there's no doubt that chaos will ensue. People will freak out when they see an 18-foot furry doll or a giant pink spider roaming free on the street. This will only put the toys' lives in danger. The prototype doesn't want that to happen, so he tries his best to keep all the toys inside the facility. The moment we suddenly appear at the factory, the prototype probably thinks we would disturb their peace. We still don't know what kind of an employee we were during our employment. It's possible that we were one of the higher-ups, but it's also likely that we were just a low-level employee who knew nothing about the Bigger Bodies initiative. Either way, he still wanted to get revenge on us, and now that we've stepped back into his crosshairs, the prototype needs to balance keeping the toys safe while enacting retribution. He unfortunately decides to jeopardize the lives of some toys to make sure we're shaken up and slowly tear us apart. But maybe the prototype has deeper plans for the main protagonist. Maybe the prototype finally found a way where he can live in the outside world in peace. Experiment 1006 is notorious for his ability to collect body parts of dead toys and merge them. There's even a hint that he could do so with human bodies as well. If you take a closer look at Catnap's shrine, you can see a human skeleton protruding from the mouth of one of the dead toys. There's a good chance that this could symbolize something bigger. The prototype may actually want to leave Playtime. The problem is that it wouldn't be possible right now in his current form. People would be terrified when they see him, and he would most likely end up under attack. Therefore, the only way he can escape is to mask himself as a human being. The prototype might be trying to reverse the process of the Bigger Bodies initiative, turning himself from a toy back into a full-fledged human. After the Hour of Joy, we know many of the human bodies were either mangled or eaten by the ravenous toys, which means that the prototype wouldn't be able to reverse the process without capturing a living human. It's likely that the prototype had to settle for collecting dead toys, since there were no humans to run experiments on. However, luck would have it as the main protagonist would come knocking at his doorstep 10 years later. So the prototype probably wants to make sure we stay alive until it's time for him to use our body. It seems convincing enough, but since we barely know anything about the prototype, there's no guarantee he won't do a 180. What if the prototype is actually a good guy? Or better yet, what if he's actually Elliot Ludwick? Even though Elliot Ludwick built Playtime Co., there's no single mention or evidence that he's the one who initiated the Bigger Bodies initiative. It's reported that he had passed away by the 1990s, but it could also be just an alibi to cover the truth that he got turned into Experiment 1006. Maybe he volunteered himself like Thomas Clark did, but then who was responsible for the Bigger Bodies initiative if it wasn't him? Maybe it could be a certain someone that likes to talk on the phone. Perhaps the prototype or Ludwick's goal is to reverse the Bigger Bodies initiative and free every person who's been trapped inside a toy. He's been hiding in order to find a way to do it. Meanwhile, Ollie can't let this happen. He and Poppy try to convince us that Experiment 1006 is evil. They're slowly leading us to find the prototype, asking for our help to defeat him. This is the reason the prototype has been sending his strongest followers, not to kill us but to merely threaten us. He can't let whatever he's been working on fall to pieces. If it isn't for that reason, it's likely that the prototype or Ludwick does it to protect the orphans. In Chapter 3, a tape confirms that all the Playtime children are still alive after the Hour of Joy. They're being kept somewhere safe so that no evil toy like Mr. Light would be able to find them. From the conversation in the tape, it seems like Catnap knows where they're located, and considering he's the prototype's most loyal follower, most likely the prototype told him of their location. You might be questioning then, what does protecting the children have anything to do with sparing us? It's been 10 long years since the Hour of Joy occurred. Even though the orphans may have been provided with food and water, that wouldn't last them forever. Time is most certainly running out, and they would need to get out of there as soon as possible. However, they can't do it if the evil toys are still lurking around the facility. The toys that the prototype is worried about are the toys with insatiable hunger and willing to cannibalize each other. For example, Mr. Light couldn't control her hunger and ate the other teachers, so if the children want to get out of their dungeon, the prototype has no choice but to eliminate all of the dangerous toys. He needs our help to do so he sends us a letter to invite us to enter the factory, pretending to be Poppy. We also need to keep in mind that Poppy was still inside the cage when we received the letter, so it's impossible she was the one who did it. Second, the prototype might be too weak to kill all the toys on his own. We only know what his hand looks like, and not his whole body. He may be a lot weaker than we think, and leads us to kill the bigger monsters he could never defeat. It's likely that the prototype can only contest them having merged with their dead bodies to get stronger. So what do you think? Do you have your own theory that might explain why the prototype never killed us? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons and turn on the notification bell because we'll be back with more Poppy Playtime videos. See you next time.